Adult Solutions. Add-on desires.
Welcome to Adult Solutions Current Affairs Program. I am Venkat Sheshareddy. IPCC report forecasts a future of severe weather. It alerts increased number of volcanoes in South Asia or Indian subcontinent, and there will be more number of spells on the rainfall. And apart from that, due to increase in temperature, the glaciers will be retreated or maybe decreased the quantity of the glacier. So because of this, after a few decades, we'll be facing acute water shortage in the rivers that are flowing now. These are some of the areas where it had just given in its assessment report 6. What is this IPCC and how periodically this assessment report will be publishing and what is the purpose of this? Let us just try to discuss these all in the format of causes for the climate change, consequences, and mitigation measures to be taken to control this climate change so that we can safeguard our life as well as the life on the surface of the earth. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is an organization under the United Nations, or specifically WMO, World Meteorological Organization, which has established in 1988, and it has a headquarters at the Geneva. What it will do and how these functions will be done. It will be guiding on the scientific measures or reports that conduct the study over entire world on the scientific areas with multiple number of people who are the researchers, and which will be publishing its report period 5 to 7 years in once in 5 to 7 years. And so far it has released 5 assessment reports. The last one was in 2015 and the next one, that is AR6. AR5 was in 2015 and AR6 assessment report 6 is going to be published in the coming year, that is 2022. Meanwhile, it has published some of the areas where it is has a red alert, that is the amount of temperature increase is going to be cross even well ahead expected, and the other areas that are going to be get affected because of this climate change. What is a climate change? Climate change is something, it affects climate change. Any effect on the agents of the climate on long term basis is called climate change. To let me make it little elaborate, temperature, pressure, wind speed and atmospheric other agents that are going to get affected either positively or negatively. That means either when it is increasing the temperature or reducing the temperature drastically, hot or maybe cold age. These are the two extremes that may be caused by the climate change. Climate change does not mean that only increase in global average temperatures. It may be either increase or maybe decrease. And from where we will be comparing this climate change, either increase in the temperature or decrease in the temperature. Now let me just take you little backwards from the Industrial Revolution age. Industrial Revolution took place around 1750 to 1850. This is the age where human has found out machines to replace the manpower, where it can be machines will be doing all the work, and as the byproduct, machines started emitting pollutants from the fossil fuels. Now, these emissions that may be in the form of carbon dioxide, methane or chlorofluorocarbons, chlorohydrocarbons, these all are the agents that are released into the atmosphere. Now, as their composition is ever growing since then, what happens? These all are having another parameter, that is they will be capturing heat on the surface of the earth. Let us assume this is the earth and we have atmosphere of a thickness of 1000 km, and within this we will be having 99% of the atmosphere within the top 15 kilometers of this area. Now we know 78% of nitrogen is there and 21% of oxygen, and rest are the trace gases like methane, ethane, carbon dioxide, neon, argon, all different gases are there. Out of all these, carbon dioxide and methane, chlorofluorocarbons, chlorohydrocarbons are acting as the bed sheet or the blanket over the surface of the earth. What happens is, we receive sun rays from the sun and we receive the heat energy from the sun here in the form of short wave radiation, and we will be emitting this short wave, like whatever the heat energy we received from this short wave radiation will be emitting back into the surface or maybe into universe, and this is in the form of long wave radiation. Now these gases, what they will do, they will be having long term impact on this balance, that is called heat budget. Now these gases will be capturing a good amount of heat, where because of this restoring, or if it is affecting at least 1% of long term heat budget, that means only if you are receiving 100 units of heat and if you are emitting only 99 units of heat over a period of time, then what will happen? This cumulative temperatures on the surface of the earth will be increased. That is what happening because of this emissions that are like releasing from this industrial revolution time. When did this observed? In the middle of 20th century, that is around in 1960s and 70s it has been observed, and there is a theory that is called limits to growth, where the world leaders has met and they have started understanding that there is something is severely going wrong in climate change. That is the reason why they wanted to establish some organizations where it can be measuring the impact of this, so that they can take the measures to mitigate these, and these organizations also came up in this same lines only, and over a period of time under UNEP there are 195 members in this organization as the members, and we have COP, Conference of Parties. This will be happening almost every year, will be meeting at a different places, and COP21 was the major milestone in this process, Conference of Parties on Climate Change, which happened in Paris. There people or the world leaders has undergone some agreements or maybe understanding that we have to limit ourselves from the emitting the gases. Now what is the relation with the development and emissions? The relation between development and emission is directly proportional. If you want to develop, you have to use fossil fuels. So far the technology is not there, whatever the replacing technology is not there where you can replace the fossil fuels. Now there are some countries which are already developed over a period of time, right from the 1750s to till date, and we being middle income countries or maybe underdeveloped countries or developing countries, we have started our journey of industrialization at a very later phase, Now in this COP21 at Paris, the world leaders has tried to adhere to the goals that we are supposed to limit ourselves to emissions, and per capita emissions we are one of the lowest, where we are emitting or we are burning or we are consuming very limited amount of fossil fuels, but whereas cumulative we are on the third largest emitters in the world. And now the world leaders are the countries that are blaming us for the overconsumption of these refrigerators or maybe any things that are emitting CFCs or CHCs. Now these will be causing the even further more capturing of the heat. Now as these are blaming, we are defending or from these countries, like we are in the tropical region and it is supposed to have some comforts, because it is inevitable to storage our food or maybe for the creating ambience where we can cool down our temperature, room temperatures, etc. These all are the technologies that we are using apart from the fossil fuels that we use for the transportation for purpose or maybe for the power generation, that is in the form of coal, petroleum or etc. Now even though when these things are going, but it is inevitable to contain this pollution, then what we have adhered to, we have set a target of 175 gigawatt of energy will be produced from the renewable energies. Now, what are the renewable energies? Renewable energies are the energies that are produced out of the methods where you will not be using fossil fuels, but you will be using the solar energy, or maybe wind energy, or maybe OTEC, or maybe geysers, or some other areas where you will not be like small hydropower plants. These all are the areas where you can be using for the generation of power. Within this 175 gigawatt target, we have set to like solar energy, wind energy, and other parameters where we will be taking into consideration. Now, we are going to have a Glasgow meet in as the 26th meet of the COP, and it is also having the 175 gigawatt target for the 2022 only. From 2015 to 2022 we had this target, and we will be measuring on this whether we could be able to achieve these targets or not. Now, what will happen because of all these things? Glacial melting and also increase in the temperature will be causing different crop pattern. Now, we all know that any area or any crop will be totally depends upon the type of climate alone. Now, if you want to grow paddy, you need to have high sunlight or maybe heat and high amount of water, that is per humid conditions, that you may be needing more than 100 centimeter annual rainfall, or maybe good amount of irrigation facilities. And apart from that, if you want to grow cotton, you need a dry spell during before harvestation period, and apart from that it needs some good amount of sunlight. If you want to grow sugarcane, etc., all these different crops are dependent on the type of climate alone. Now, here if you add 1 more degree centigrade or 2 more degrees centigrade, then what happens is this productivity of the crops or the soil will be completely changing. Now, due to this, there will be huge crisis on the food as well. Apart from that, even the biological activities will also be getting affected hugely. Now, it's been like from industrial revolution time, we have measured that so far it has been increased almost 1.1 degree centigrade average so far from the industrial revolution time, and we had a target of at least limiting this growth to 2 degrees Celsius alone till this century, that is 21st century, and then we are expecting even better terms where if we could be able to limit this to 1.5 degrees centigrade. Now, due to glacial melting, what happens? What are the glaciers? Glaciers are the accumulation of ice at higher altitudes, that is in the Himalayan region on one parameter, and also at the polar regions. Now, we are not getting affected in this complete polar region, but it is also already proven that some of the icebergs are melting in these regions. Now, in the Himalayan region, if these glaciers completely get melted due to high annual average temperature, what will happen? This will be leading to floods, and apart from that, landslides or the mass wasting. All these things will be getting affected due to this melting of the glaciers. Now, when it is flooding, then also the plain areas will be caused, like glacial melting causes the flooding and landslides on the mountainous regions, and then it will be causing flooding in the plain region as well. Due to this, the people who are living on the plain regions will get affected drastically. Apart from this, what else it will be causing? Whenever after a couple of decades or a decade, this quantity of the ice recedes. Due to this receding the amount of ice caps or maybe amount of glaciers, then what happens? This perennial rivers will not be able to sustain the minimum ecological flow due to the lack of availability of the ice caps. Now, what is minimum ecological flow? Ecological flow is the amount of water that at least you need to maintain in the rivers where it can be able to sustain the life in this river. Apart from that, in the coastal region or maybe at the very fag end of the river. River has three stages. One is youthful stage, that is falling in the mountainous region, a mature stage where it is falling in the plain region, and a old stage where it is in the nearby deltaic region, or the old stage. These are the stages of the river that we are known, and in this the delta will be completely desertified because of non-availability of water, and in the mature stage where life if you take Ganga river valley, now here this Ganga flooding area where you dolphins are there in this Ganga river, but if you are not maintaining a minimum ecological flow in this region, what happens is these dolphins or other species that are surviving due to this water flow will be extinct. Now, as you know that cornerstone species, even if one or the other species that is getting affected drastically in this food web, then definitely it will be causing huge impact on the ecology and environment. That is the reason why we need to maintain a minimum water flow in the rivers, so that we will be able to sustain whatever the ecology is there in this region. Apart from that, upper riparian states and lower riparian states are there. What that means, if a river is flowing from mountainous region, let us assume this is Himalayan region and this is Ganga river, states that are flowing, and then these are the lower states. If you start constructing all the dams, then what happens? The people who are living under these area will get drastically affected due to non-availability of water. These all are the problems that will be leading to happen if these glaciers get recede or glaciers get melted in this high altitude regions. Then it will be having a high impact on the socio-economic conditions of the plains. The next thing is, almost 40% of the population of the world are living on the coastal areas that are in the range of 100 km from the coastline. We are having about 7,500 km coastline, and 40% of the population are living from coast to 100 km range. Within this range, 40% of the population is living. Now, due to this increased average temperature will cause to rise in the sea level. Among all the oceans that we have, Indian Ocean is the ocean that is getting affected drastically. What could be the reason? This is a little bit closed ocean compared to Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, so that it is not possible to transport the amount of heat effectively. Then what happens? The amount of heat whatever it receives will be accumulated in the ocean itself. When it is accumulating more, then what happens? The increase or the rate of increase will also be higher when compared to the other oceans. Now here, what are the possible questions in the preliminary exam are, what is COP, or maybe what are the targets that COP has set on the world countries, or maybe what is IPCC, etc. And then among the following oceans, which is the ocean that is rapidly increasing the temperature. Now all these could be questions in the preliminary exam. Now, as we know, when this level of water that rises in the ocean, what happens? Coastal area are the people who get drastically affected immediately due to this increase in the water level. Now already we are facing such issues as the climate refugees in Oceania. Where is Oceania? The islands that are nearby Australia are called Oceania. Now these all are the islands already facing this issue, as they are very small, and due to increase in water level which are almost submerged. When they are almost submerged, they are not having any place to survive. And where will these people go? These people has to take a refugee at some other country. That is what called as the climate refugees or environment refugees. Now we can directly sense this problem, as 40% of population is going to get affected because of the increase in the or rise of the ocean water level. Now apart from this, what this IPCC has suggested, that it is going to have increase in number of cyclones on the Indian subcontinent. What is meant by cyclone? A cyclone means a weather phenomenon that is associated with a low pressure center. Now let us assume this is Indian Ocean. Now you have a concept of apparent shift of sun from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere and southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere. When sun is on the northern hemisphere, it will be summer in the northern hemisphere. When sun is on the southern hemisphere directly, then it is summer in the southern hemisphere. Now here, whenever it is more temperature, whenever there is a high temperature, now pressure is inversely proportional to the temperature. Pressure will be decreased at that place. Now let us assume all the isobars. What is meant by isobar? Isobar means a line that is joining all the places that are having equal amount of pressure is called isobar. Now let us try to understand something. All the isobars, if they are very much close enough, what is the reason? The change in pressure is a very fast, the decrease in pressure is very fast rate. If the isobars are at distantly located, then what it is indicating? The change in pressure is gradual. When there is a fast change in pressure, then intensity of the pressure changes will also be high. Now this will be causing a whirling effect on the wind, and which will be raising the wind. Now when it is raising over the sea, it will be sucking all the water from below the low pressure area center. Now this will be traveling towards the continents, and whenever it falls on the continent, it will be having a high impact on the continents. Now this number of cyclones are going to increase as this temperatures in this area is going to be increased. Now because of this, most of the coastal area people will be getting affected. As we already know, some of the cyclones like Hudhud or maybe many cyclones that are affected the coastal area people already. So because of all these reasons, we will be having huge impact over the humankind, both environmentally as well as socio-economically. Conference of Parties meeting in Glasgow, that is going to happen in the next year, later this year, where countries are expected to announce plans and steps they have taken to curb emissions. As we have already suggested that in 2015, that is COP21, where all the countries, all the member countries has agreed upon some targets. Now whether these targets are met or not, what are the steps that they have taken will be evaluated in this condition. Now these information, entire information of UNFCCC or maybe IPCC, all these information will be able to present better about their measures that they have taken in this period, and also they can be able to bargain in the UNFCCC meet or COP meet. Now UNFCCC signed in 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, also known as the Earth Summit, the Rio Summit or the Rio Conference. This is where it has originated. The UNFCCC entered into force on 1994 and has been ratified by the 197 countries. That means 197 countries has agreed upon these terms and conditions. We will be doing a separate video on the United Nations organizations and their different bodies and the roles. Thank you. Keep watching for the updates that we are going to present.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.